Today I'm going to show you two very powerful breathing exercises that are going to help you improve your posture. What's up everybody, it's Blake here with Gorilla Zen Fitness, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you two of my favorite breathing exercises for breathing, injury prevention, and remediation. I want to start this video off by saying that most people are not breathing properly. Most people are not using their diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle inside of the rib cage that when it contracts, it pulls downwards, creates a vacuum, and helps pull air into the lungs. A lot of people, because of stress and bad posture, have something called secondary respiration. And basically what that means is that all of the muscles of the upper trunk that are supposed to help the diaphragm breathe, the muscles in the upper trunk that pull the rib cage open and allow more air to be pulled into the lungs, like the scalenes, the upper trapezius, the sternocleidomastoid, and the pec minor, it basically means that they all become overactive and they all become the primary breathing muscle, which, as I just said, is supposed to be the diaphragm. Now, if these muscles are contracting all the time because they're using them to breathe hundreds of times during the day, then they're going to become tight and overactive, okay? And when the upper traps become tight, your shoulders are going to elevate. When the pec minor becomes tight, your shoulders are going to be pulled forward. When the sternocleidomastoid and scalenes become tight, your head is going to come forward, okay? So that by having this secondary respiration, you're getting recruitment in all of the wrong muscles in the upper trunk, and basically you're going to develop this type of posture. So essentially, having bad posture and being stressed out causes faulty recruitment patterns when it comes to breathing, which in turn distorts and warps posture even further. Now, the initial poor posture and alignment that caused the dysfunctional breathing in the first place oftentimes is associated with having an anterior pelvic tilt, having your pelvis being tilted forward, and having your ribs flared out like this, okay? I call that extension. Basically, when you're extended like this because you have poor abdominal control, your diaphragm is not in an optimal position. And when it's not in an optimal position, it needs to rely on all of those muscles up here in order to actually function. And what this all has to do with is basically something called the zone of apposition, which is essentially the diaphragm's relationship to the lower ribs here. Now, I don't want to get too much into the zone of apposition, also known as the ZOA, because today I'd rather focus on breathing techniques and exercises. But for those that are analytically minded and people that are curious for more, I've included several articles and studies in the description down below to medical studies, as well as articles coming directly from the Postural Restoration Institute speaking about this zone of apposition, also known as the ZOA. So what I'm going to show you are two breathing exercises that you can do to recruit the diaphragm, to get that thing working again, so that all of these secondary respiration muscles in your chest and in your neck here can kind of calm down and not become so overactive and tight. Which, like I said a second ago, when they are tight like that, they're going to distort your posture even further. So the first exercise is very simple. All you need is your body and some space to lay down on the floor. Okay, so for this first one, you're just going to start laying on your back like this. Your feet are going to be planted in the ground. You're going to push your feet into the ground, activate those hamstrings, slightly rotate the pelvis posteriorly, meaning backwards towards your face like this, okay? What this does is it sets up the appropriate zone of apposition for the diaphragm to contract. It basically puts the relationship between the ribs and the diaphragm into an optimal position, okay? From here, what you're going to do is you're going to place one hand on your abdomen and the other hand on your chest, okay? And basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take a big inhale through your nose, and you're going to make sure that you're filling up your stomach first, okay? Your abdominal cavity. That's going to force the diaphragm to contract. 2/3 of your inhalation is going to go into your abdominal cavity here, and then you're only going to allow the upper chest to expand and fill up with air for the last 1/3 of the breath, okay? This is essentially retraining your diaphragm to function properly, okay? So what you're going to do, one hand on the abdomen, one hand on the chest. Like I said, big inhale. 2/3 into the stomach, and then the last third through the chest. Hold it for a second. Exhale, release. Squeeze the stomach, okay? and then do that over again. That's essentially it. If you have secondary respiration, that's going to feel very awkward for you because your chest is going to want to expand for the entire inhalation, okay? So force the abdominal cavity to expand first, and then allow the upper chest to expand. That exercise can be done every day for about 30 breaths. Now I'm going to show you a little bit more of an advanced breathing exercise coming straight from the Postural Restoration Institute. We're going to call it the 90-90 breathing exercise. You can have a balloon or straw handy for this, but really all you need is a wall. The setup for this one is similar to that first exercise, however it's slightly different. What you're going to do is you're going to start on a wall. You can use a ball or a foam roller for this. It actually helps, but it's not necessary. You can just have your feet up on a wall like this if you choose to, but the foam roller makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more effective. If you have one, put it in between your legs and squeeze it, okay? At this point in time, your knees should be at 90 degrees. Your leg bones should form a 90-degree angle with your hips, okay? You're going to activate the hamstrings again by pulling your heels down. Slightly lift up that pelvis and tilt it posteriorly, just like in that first exercise, okay? Setup is very similar. We're setting up that optimal zone of apposition, okay? From here, basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick a side. I'll pick my right side. You're gonna put that overhead, okay? This arm just stays right here. You're gonna put the tongue on the roof of your mouth, okay? You're gonna take a big inhale through the nose, and you're basically gonna repeat exercise 1, okay? 2/3 coming from the abdominal cavity, the last 1/3 here, okay? Hold for a second at the top. Exhale through the mouth, squeezing the abdomen, okay? That's essentially it. Keep in mind here, the Postural Restoration Institute talks about this a lot. You're going to have a harder time in inflating and filling up the right side of your chest cavity because of like right hand dominance. Everything that we do is essentially with our right hands, even if you're left-handed, because of the way doorknobs are situated and things like that. And basically that creates like dysfunction on the right side. So really focus on inflating that right side of the body, which is really just going to help bring more symmetry to your body overall. Now you can do this with a straw or a balloon the same way, except that hand that wasn't doing anything a second ago, this hand was overhead, this hand wasn't doing anything, this hand would be holding the straw or the balloon, okay? And you'd be inflating the balloon or blowing through the straw on the exhalation, okay? What that does is it adds a little bit more resistance, okay, to your exhale, so that your exhalation muscles can get a little bit stronger. However, it's not necessary. If you want to make this a little bit more difficult on yourself, you can kind of just purse your lips really hard and make it hard to blow out of your mouth. 5 breaths on one side is a round. I would recommend you do this for about 3 to 4 rounds on each side. I've included even more links in the description down below to videos that I've made in the past where I demonstrate exercises that will kind of work synergistically with the breathing exercises that I showed you today, so make sure you check that out. Additionally, if you liked this video, then go ahead and give it a like down below, leave me a comment, and if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, then go ahead and do that right over here. Other than that, I will see you guys next time.